Hey,
Tony,
Mel,
Jane,
Hema,
Susan, Janine,
Adrian,
Mary,
Terry.
and Bob.
I'm prepared to let go of the ego, totally, but what's in it for me?
Yes.
And that other thing that just popped in my head too, Melvin. You know that saying, I've heard you say it, Bobby, sticks and stones will break my bones, but names will never hurt me. It's actually the reverse. Sticks and stones won't break my bones, but by Christ, names hurt me.
Who does it hurt?
Yeah. Yeah.
Bunch of beliefs.
Yeah.
Rubbish.
Yeah. All that's really happening when you look for yourself and see for yourself, all that's really happening, the only thing that's in conflict is thoughts. Only. Yeah, there'll be the thought of self, and then there'll be, we give names to it, like an inner critic, the dialogue that goes on in our head, and we think the inner critic is talking to me, or it's being critical of me. But all it's being critical of is another bunch of thoughts, saying that's not all right for the inner critic to be saying that. What do I need to do to improve myself so that the inner critic will no longer be critical of me? But but all that's really happening, it's all thought patterns, and the strongest thought pattern that arises for us is I am. That's the strongest. I am. There is a me. I am here. I am seeing. I am hearing. I am. I am aware. And we can get confused with that when we start to listen or start to grasp this. We. It's a bit like what Kat was saying before. You kind of transfer one belief for another belief. Yeah, okay. So I'm not the me. What I actually am is no thing or everything. Okay, yeah, I get that. Who gets that?
Yeah.
Who gets that? So it is it's just another transfer of a belief, if you like. But the strongest one is I am, and we believe that it's the I am that's aware. We believe that it's the I am that's even getting this understanding, starting to see it, like what Kat said. Okay, yeah, I'm not the me, and I'm everything. Yeah, okay, that sits better. do you know what I mean? Yeah. So really, and it's often referred to as a dream. Like what rattles on, seemingly between our ears, doesn't actually rattle on there, but seemingly between our ears, that content. Like all those thoughts, the inner critic, the dialogue, the images that we see in our mind, when we're supposedly awake, by the way, walking around, doing our daily things, that content, all of that, if you really see it, it's no different from the content that arises when we're asleep, on the bed, at night, dreaming. It's the same shit. And there'll be a character in the sleeping dream that feels real. Totally feels real. You can experience a whole gamut of things. That dreamed character, when you're asleep dreaming at night, laying on your bed, not actually moving, not going anywhere, that dream character can experience fear, love, lust, anger, a whole host of things. And in the dream, it absolutely seems real. Absolutely seems real. The same thing's happening here. It seems real. It seems like there is a me here. It seems like there is a character here. And the irony of all this is the dream character in the dream, can't possibly know or experience what it's like to be awake when you wake up in the morning. But it wants to. So in the dream, whilst you're asleep, in the dream, there's a character in the dream, searching for itself, wanting to know its true self, wanting to, and it's even got a concept or an idea of what waking up might be like. Yeah? And what it wants to do is it wants to wake up from the dream. Is it possible? What happens to the dream character when one does actually wake up in the morning? What happens to it?
Gone with the dream.
It's just totally gone. You know, the character and the content of the dream. The content that the character in the dream is supposedly experiencing. The exact same thing is happening here. So the notion of this character trying to get this or grasp this or have this or awaken to this is total fiction. You can't. So, but what you can do, not that there's anyone that can do it, but there can be the realization, if you like, that it is a dream. It is a total dream. There's no difference. So, and there's no doing in that. There's literally just a seeing. You don't have to attain anything or practice any spiritual practices, or it's literally just seeing. Yeah, but seeing the dream. Seeing the dream. Seeing it. You know, and you know, that pattern of thought that arises, that I am pattern of thoughts, is just a pattern of thoughts. And it's that I am pattern of thoughts that's trying to find itself, or is trying to get this. So it's seeing the I am pattern of thoughts. It's part of the dream. It's just, or thoughts, just patterns of thoughts, patterns of thinking, images, and you know, we can imagine all sorts of images, or not we can, but all sorts of images come up, all sorts of thoughts come up, and we take that content, including the dreamed character, to be real. So it's just seeing that.
Yeah.
Really, it's as simple as that.
A beautiful explanation.
Maddie, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, the thing is, if you watch yourself continuously when you're doing things, sooner or later you start realizing that a lot of stuff you didn't even, that order, that command didn't even come from you.
Yeah.
You become aware of it. And by watching that, then you see that you're not the doer.
Yeah.
You're not doing it. And in other words, you're not there. I mean, the body's here. It looks it's here, but it's not.
Yeah, the dream character thinks it's got free
Yeah.
will.
Yeah.
It thinks it's doing. It thinks it's in control of the body. It thinks all this delusional stuff. Mary's spot on. You know, if you just start, like, it's, you know, you can observe the thinking that kind of happens and the me patterning, the I am pattern that arises. You can also observe the body and the myriad, the millions of different things that it does throughout the course of the day that has got nothing to do with your dream character. It's just happening.
Keep watching your actions, even when you drive.
Even when Mary just scratched her nose then.
That's right. I didn't even order it to scratch it.
Yeah.
It's exactly right.
So there's stuff, this is being moved regardless of that, regardless of the dreamed character. Just happens.
Yeah.
And then the me steps in, or the dream character steps in a split second later and says, I did that.
Yeah, we think
or,
we're doing it all.
Or I see, or I hear, or I smell, touch, that blah, blah, blah.
I think the problem is that we're so used to that everything that we do, you know, somebody is behind us got to be doing it. And the mind can't accept what you just said, that it just happens.
Yeah, but you can witness it.
Yeah.
You can
yeah, I
actually
understand.
start to see it. Can start to see it.
As Bob has always said, the energy of belief has gone into that for so many
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
years, you know.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
You
And
gotta
by the
pack
way,
the
I
time.
haven't used that word inner critic probably for decades, okay?
Mm.
But I'd never taken it past, you know, the inner critic, you know. I'd never realised, you know, I'd never taken that far to see who's it being critical of, you know.
Yeah.
It's a good point. Yeah.
All resistance is only thoughts.
Yeah.
In resistance with one another.
Mm-hmm.
That's all that's happening.
Yeah, that's good.
That's all that's happening.
Mm,
You know, if you don't like my ideas,
mm,
my thoughts get offended at that. Like, that's all.
mm.
Yeah, and vice versa, and even just my own thoughts. There's big conflict going on in here.
And we allow the thoughts to control us. really. We become a slave to the
Well,
thoughts.
we become the thoughts. We believe that what we
yeah,
are
that's right.
is that. We actually
That
believe.
we are thinking that.
Yeah, I'm suffering.
Yeah.
There's thoughts that are suffering. There's just ideas of thoughts, a belief, just a belief system that's going on in there, and that just needs to be seen.
In the book, in Nisargadatta, they said the one who's having the thought is the thought itself.
Yes, totally.
So there you are.
That's
When
so
you when you know it
perfect.
all,
Like, that's so,
think of that.
that's so perfect. Because it is. It is. No thought, nothing happens. Zero.
Everything's good.
Wipe out your memory,
Mhm.
you disappear.
I think another word for I am, I understand Nisargadatta uses a lot of I am, but I think we're used to when we say I am, we always want to put another word next to it.
Yeah.
Right? But I think if we use I exist, then it sort of stops there.
Yeah.
You know, I exist. Well, that's it. You know, you don't have to put I am this or I am that. So I just exist. I think it means the same thing anyway.
The I am just sharpens the looking, the search. It just sharpens it.
Well, I think it's the other way. You know, that I am, because like I just said, I think when we say I am, we always want to put
I am what?
I am what? I am another something. You know,
Absolutely.
good, bad, rich, poor, whatever.
Even
So if I say I exist, well, you don't really want to
It
put in the
stops
other
there.
words after that, do you?
Yeah,
Yep.
beautiful.
I
I'll
can only
take it.
cope with there is.
Yeah.
Anything else, this head starts reading all sorts of shit in. So there is, I can't do I or am.
even the I am, that's the beginning of the split.
Mm.
That's where the duality starts. I am. And you know, it might go from I am Tony, and then the big story that gets attached to that, which is usually your history and your memory and so on. Yeah. And then
Chaos.
might go from that to I am. Yeah. And it's more stable. There's no story attached to just I am. Yeah. And then it might go from I am to I,
Or just am.
or just am,
Am,
or I.
am is part of being.
Yeah.
Am is being. Who's being? When you put I on it.
So what's the N one? Am.
M. Being.
Being.
I am, you are.
Is
No, but like, if it was like to drop I am, what's the next?
Well, drop all word. There's no I, there's no am.
Well, can you drop the being? Which part of the verb to be is being? Can you drop that?
Yeah.
Try and not
I
be-
can drop the word.
Yeah,
Yes.
you can't drop the being.
Drop it.
No, no.
not void. That's my best.
But you don't need. But
one up.
you don't need to actually say I am
Mm.
to know that there's being.
No.
Yeah. But at least that I amness, at least it gets sharp. It gets a bit more pointy, and you're sitting with the being, with the I am, with the being, and that's all. Until those two words drop off.
Drop as well.
Yeah.
Mm.
And you can't negate that, the being, knowing and wanting to be. That's that, you know that.
Mm. You feel that.
Why do they call it awakening? Why is it called an awakening? Waking from a dream
Waking to the dream.
to the dream. Yeah. The sleeping dream and the waking dream. But there's no one to awaken. It's just recognise, like when you wake up in the morning, there's no one in the dream that has awoken. But there's an awakening, there's awake.
That's how I was saying it. You were dreaming a dream you call the world. And he says, stop looking for ways out. We're always trying to get out of the dream or change the dream or something. And he says, the dream is not your concern. Your concern is that you love one part of the dream and not the other. So see it all as dream, and you've done all you need to do, and the rest will be done for you, and that's the important thing. Life will take and we resonate, we'll do what you've got to do. But we're constantly dividing like everything else. We want one part, the good part, and not the bad.
And we take that dream to be so substantial whatever it is, the personalised dream I'm talking about, the history, the memory, the story, we take that to be so real. Yet, if you literally look around the room, here, now, what part of this space or what part of this room does that dream affect? Is it having any impact or any effect on this here, now?
No.
Does the dream when you're asleep at night and having a dream, does it have any impact on this here, now? No. Yet we believe it to be substantial and so important. Like so important. They're nothing. You can't stand next to a tree and see what impact your dream has on a tree. Really.
Couldn't care less.
Yeah. Doesn't even know you're dreaming.
Doesn't know of me.
Yeah. Mm. The character in the dream when you're asleep seems so bloody real. That's why you experience fear in a dream. If someone's chasing after you, trying to kill you, yeah, it seems so real in the dream. And you can't awaken in the dream. It's not the dream that awakens to what's happening. And this so-called waking dream, the character seems so real because we experience fear, you know, anger, discontentment, separation, isolation, same things that the character in your dream experiences and seems so real. Identification is in the dream character. I am that.
So if the character can't wake up, then should the character be reading books? Should the character be going anywhere? Should the character be doing anything?
There isn't
It
a
has no
character.
saying.
But
There's
I
no
know there
saying.
isn't one, but we think there is, right? And that's the one that's doing things at the moment.
No, it's not. It's not.
I understand it's not.
No, but you don't.
Okay.
No, but you don't.
All right.
It's not that. If there is no character, if
Mhm.
there is no me, and there's reading happening, then there's just reading happening. You can't attribute it to an illusory character, something that isn't. You can't attribute any of the doing, or reading, or seeking to that. Or is there someone responsible for the content of your dream when you're asleep at night lying on your bed? What's responsible for that? All that dream content that happens, including the idea of a dreamt character that's in the dream. Who's doing all that? And then it seems really real too, yeah, but what's responsible for all that? You?
No, it's just happening. So
Oh, so does this. So does this.
I dream a lot. As soon as I close my eyes, I dream.
Yeah. But so does this.
It just appears.
There's no doer. There's no me
You don't go anywhere, you don't do anything.
choosing
it
to
just
think or
appears.
choosing to do anything. Even the manifestation, if you like, of thoughts that seem to produce a separate, so-called isolated individual. It's got nothing to do with the separate, so-called isolated individual. Those thoughts are also a pattern of energy, just like in the dream. They're a pattern of energy. And there's no you doing it in the dream when you're asleep, and there's no you doing it now when you believe yourself to be awake. And it's seeing that, literally seeing that occur.
So there's no you, period. That's it.
Period.
Mm-hmm.
Period. Absolutely. None. And no other either. So all that's happening right now is there's speaking and hearing. Or speaking and hearing.
Yeah.
And that, both those things are just spontaneously happening. Doesn't have to be a me there to be speaking.
And that's I think what probably the problem lies because the mind always tells you, well, that there has to be somebody behind it, like there's cause and effect, there's got to be somebody there doing it.
Yeah, so all you
That's
do...
how what our mind, our conditioning tells us,
Great, so all you do is go looking for that one.
Yeah.
Go looking for that one that believes it's the speaker, or it's the listener, or the seer, or the hearer, toucher, smell it, whatever. Go looking for that one. See what that is. You will see it's just another personalised pattern of thoughts. That's all it is. Belief. That's all it is. Now, are you that? Just a pattern of thoughts? Why not? Why couldn't you just be that? What's wrong with that?
Well, I don't know, I suppose. I don't know for sure.
Well, it's because intuitively or innately you know that you're more than that.
And because you're aware of that.
And you're aware of it. So you can't be that you're aware of.
Because there's the separation. There's the aware, the guy's aware, and there's the thing that's been aware.
Yeah, if you like. But there's like two parts to this. One part's relatively elementary, and that is at least becoming aware that thoughts just come and go. Okay? And I can't choose it, and I can't switch it off. It just happens. Yeah? We're encouraged to do that when we first sit in meditation. Yep, sit there, close your eyes, and just watch your thoughts coming and going. Try not to get involved, just let them float through. Okay? It's fairly elementary. Okay? The harder thing to see is that personalised pattern of thoughts that's there, that believes it's a me, or that believes that I am. That's harder to see than just the thoughts that are floating through, because what happens is when we start to at least become aware of the thoughts that float through, we attribute that awareness of being able to see the thoughts that float through as me that can see the thoughts that float through. And that's a mistake. It's not me that sees the thoughts that float through at all. So that me that's taking ownership of being here and being aware of thoughts that just float through, that needs to be investigated. What's that?
You got to take the me out of the equation.
You can't take the me out of the equation, but you can
See it.
Just see it for what it actually is. What it really actually is. And we use all sorts of pointers here, the amnesia one. Tap you on the shoulder, all your memory's gone. Yep, so there's no thought of self. Can't even recognise yourself in the mirror. Love that one, Kat. You can't, you don't even know, you don't even recognise your face. Yeah? Your whole history is completely wiped. So what is it that we'd actually be wiping if that occurred? Memory, thoughts, ideas, beliefs, image, that would get wiped. Yeah? Then where would Tony be? Would there be a Tony left? No. So what's Tony?
I have no idea.
What is Tony then?
Thoughts, ideas.
Only. So, and there's a pattern there that seems awfully close, especially when you start to come into this, because we start we don't even know we're doing it, but we're taking ownership of being aware. Oh yes, now I see that. Yeah, I see thoughts just come and go, and I'm not the creator of it, and so on and so on. That's still a me there saying that. I'm not saying that the thoughts aren't being seen, but they're not being seen by a me. But we think it is. And that needs to be seen. That one that's claiming ownership of, yep, I'm aware of thoughts. That one that's claiming ownership of that needs to be seen. So the first part's fairly elementary. that second part is more difficult, but can be seen. When Kat was talking about recognition, yeah, it's the same recognition that happens when you wake up in the morning from the dream. It's absolute recognition.
Before anything else clocks into your head.
Absolute recognition.
Yeah.
But there's no, the character in the dream doesn't recognise it, does it?
No.
Your dream character, when you're asleep at night on your
Doesn't
bed,
wake up.
it doesn't wake up. The recognition doesn't happen for the dreamed character, but the recognition is when one wakes up from the dream in the morning. Again, this is a pointer, but absolute recognition. Oh, it's a dream. Yeah, it might even take a moment for your heart to settle down if you were being chased by somebody, you know, trying to kill you. Yeah.
Before the next thought that I woke up and noticed this, before that thought clocks in. Just,
you know, and every time you see who you're not, you know, is a travelling lighter. And like Dave said, it's a way of life.
All you could say is that the life, if you like, becomes totally uncomplicated. It's not complicated because there's no one to complicate it.
Effortless.
Just things are just constantly, spontaneously happening. Now the irony is, it was always that way. Always that way. Even when one was a seeker, it was always that way. But then me would step in and go, I don't like this. I don't like the way this is manifesting. Or I don't like the way you're manifesting, or this is happening, or
Well, this
that.
can't be it.
And we go into a big story around what is.
Or is that all there is?
Yeah, because all seeking requires a trial.
Yeah,
So that's the meaning.
yeah,
And that falls away.
yeah. And then it just becomes uncomplicated. Just stuff happens, and stuff is just constantly happening as it always did or does.
so the wind doesn't make the
Or
yacht go.
is.
Eh?
We don't claim the wind is doing it.
Yes.
Okay, Bob.
Yes.